What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this being my review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 episode 11. So per usual for these reviews, I'm only going to talk about the things that really stood out to me. I don't feel like doing an entire review for the entire episode. I just want to talk about the things that really stood out to me. I thought Kelly teaching her daughter Carol to drive, I thought that was a really funny scene. She's clearly not the best of drivers. She was driving a real big Cadillac Escalade too. I was scared for Kelly. She was so close to that truck at the end, on the side of the road. I was like, she gonna hit it. But I love seeing Kelly, and as I've stated before, Kelly is probably my favorite housewife on the show. I absolutely love Kelly, and I hope that she gets a bigger role in the series as time goes on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with them. Let's talk about Angela really quickly. So Angela goes out to eat with her husband Charles. He coaches a team, and they have a game coming up, and she says that she needs to figure some things out with her sister where they actually edit out her sister's name. So apparently her sister wants nothing to do with the show. And so she needs to talk to her mother because some incident happened between Angela's daughter and Angela's sister and Angela's mother. So she needs to figure that out. So we later on see Angela talking to her mother. Angela's mother's a beautiful woman, and apparently Angela's mother had some issues with Charles in the past, and she brought up the fact that Charles was, just about her age, and Angela took some offense to that. But hey, mama's got to speak the truth, honey. So I loved the relationship between Angela and her mother, and I hope that we see more of Angela's mother as we get into more episodes of this season of Housewives of Atlanta. I absolutely love Angela's mother. I really love Angela's mother. And hopefully she can figure some things out with her sister, and maybe her mother can be the bridge to bring them together. I hope that happens later on in the season, because I hate to see sibling rivalry in any way, shape, or form, because there always needs to, I feel as though love needs to be seen between siblings at all times. But we'll see what happens later on. We also see Drew's still having issues with Ralph. Drew is FaceTiming her mother as she leaves her lawyer's office, and apparently Ralph's lawyers are trying to get Drew's lawyers removed from their case for some odd reason. I can't remember exactly why they said that Ralph wants Drew's lawyer to be recused from their case, but she says that if they recuse my lawyer from my case, I thought I have to find another lawyer and I have to start from scratch. So I do feel bad for Drew in that sense. However, I don't think Drew is innocent in this situation with Ralph. Ralph clearly makes money. I heard that Ralph does something with real estate, something of that nature. I'm not exactly sure what Ralph does for money, but Ralph obviously has a job because he's paying all the bills for the house. And, for Drew to keep on saying, this is my house, which is my house. Well, what do you actually contribute to the house, Drew? But anyways, so Drew's mother really feels that the judge has not been considering the children in the decisions that are being made in their case, and I'm sensing that Drew's mother is only seeing this from Drew's side, and is not that may not have a complete and utter understanding of Drew's actions and Drew's activity in this situation with Ralph. Thankfully, Drew's mother wasn't saying too many bad things about Ralph, because I don't think neither Ralph nor Drew are innocent in this situation at all. So we'll see what happens in the future concerning Drew and Ralph. I do not want to see Drew on the next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She has completely overstayed her welcome on this show. I don't know why we still have to see her on the show. I don't want to see Britt or Portia on the next season either. But anyway, speaking of Portia, we get Portia and Shamia. They're having a little bit of a eating out together, and it's extremely awkward. It's extremely nerve-wracking for both Shamia and Portia, because Portia does not want to have this talk. And it's so hard to talk about this because it's almost like I can't find the words as to how I can explain what Portia is acting like. But Portia is clearly trying to seem as though she is a good friend and she doesn't like being painted as a bad friend. However, your actions are showing us, Portia, that you are not the good friend. And when Shamia brings these issues to your attention, you don't want to address these issues. And that does not a good friend make, when you cannot address issues that are happening in your friendship. Shamia is pouring her heart out to Portia. Portia is being extremely dismissive throughout this entire lunch. She even gets up and goes to the bathroom to deal with, I guess, a little bit of emotions that she's having. Whether that is genuine or not, I do not know. But clearly Portia does not like Portia clearly does not like feeling as though she's the bad person in the situation, or that she's the negative person in the situation. She doesn't like that at all. But Shamia is being authentic and open to you. And Shamia is saying, I want the Portia that I see when the cameras are not on. And Portia's like, why are you doing this for the show? Why are you doing this for the show? Portia clearly wants to only be seen in one way on the show. And anything that's outside of her fantasy of how she is seen on this show, it doesn't work for her. She clearly and immediately wants to leave the scene. But reality TV don't work like that, Portia. Reality TV don't care about your feelings. You got to put yourself out there and be as authentic as you can, humanly possibly be. But apparently Phaedra's coming back in the next episode. And I'm assuming when Phaedra comes back into the fold, I'm thinking that Shamia might be pushed out. And I'm thinking that we'll get more into the divide between Shamia and Portia. I completely take Shamia's side on this argument between Shamia and Portia. It seems like they have patched things up for the time being, but I don't think that this is the last that we'll be discussing of Shamia and Portia's friendship. And I really hope that Andy holds Portia's feet to the fire when it comes to her lack of care for Shamia in this friendship and her lack of love for Shamia in this friendship. But we'll see what happens as time goes on. I am loving this season of Housewives of Atlanta. It's been a while since I've loved a season of Housewives of Atlanta. And this is a great cast with the exception of Britt, Drew, and Portia. But, hopefully next season we'll see some things shifting around. But anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on this season of Housewives of Atlanta? Who's your favorite housewife? What are your thoughts on Angela's situation with her sister and her mother? What are your thoughts on Drew's situation with Ralph and her divorce? What are your thoughts on Portia and Shamia's friendship? Let me know down there in the comments. I'm your host, JoJo Speaks from Faith Warrior Ministries. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Press that like button. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the episodes so far, or the season so far, rather. Make sure to press notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And make sure you share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Love you guys for watching. See you on the next video. Peace out.